I'm honestly heated with how this episode of Frieren developed because what these demons were able to accomplish, even knowing that we were watching a flashback where Frieren was basically explaining why she can never trust demons, you knew that little girl was going to do something horrible. But even then, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, what if, it's going to be something where she viewed it as one thing, but it was another, and then it caused her to maybe hate everyone. And even after it was all said and done, I still just find myself so baffled by how evil these creatures are and how they are so good at manipulating. Like, this is manipulation at some of the most best, insane, cruel I think I've seen. And I think the way they're handling demons is honestly already one of the most memorable that I've seen in anime, because the idea of a monster, because think about it, what we view as monsters is a pretty self-explanatory image. But once something starts talking with us and starts connecting with us, whether like you lost your son, I lost my father, using words like mother, then we start realizing that they are similar to us. And maybe push comes to shove, we all do things that are bad. And do we really want to just completely kill an entire race off because some interactions are bad? But the more you see of them, the more it does feel like there is no good demon. And if there is, I don't know how they will have a chance to survive in this world, but what an episode. It wanted to make you heated, it wanted to make you upset with what kindness and compassion can do, and these demons need to go. But full live reaction episode 7 of that Frieren greatness over on my Patreon. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting a pretty cute episode, all things considered. The intro of the episode is literally praising our girl for waking up early and getting back rubs and fed. Like, this is not what I was signing up for this episode, but this was one of the more memorable episodes for sure. Stark has officially joined the party, Fern is still around and being a mother, and honestly, I was expecting something where, especially given the statues and what they were doing, I was expecting some nostalgia, expecting some people to, feel some things, and, even seeing our boy basically, fifth time's the charm, finally got his statue right. Yeah, a little egotistical, but then again, you are saving the world, so I think you kind of deserve that. Turns out, it was something deeper, it's something emotional about giving her these memories that no matter where she goes again in her travels, because they know she will outlive them, she won't be able to forget, and people won't be able to forget about them either. And the fact that they just so casually drop the fact that elves are going extinct, they don't really have sexual desires, they don't really have the, they're kind of loners, all things considered, and they don't have the desire to reproduce. So basically, in 400 years, she's seen less than a handful of elves in her journeys, and basically, it just says that they are going more extinct rather quickly than maybe a lot of them realize. And while there definitely is some more darker subject matter sprinkled throughout, in general, I think they get you to let your guard down. So when you approach the next city and she draws her staff, I didn't know what was going to approach, but I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're going to do. She thinks these are demons, so obviously she wants to kill them. Going to be a big misunderstanding, but there's going to be some bad apples mixed in with the good apples, and there's going to be a situation where she's going to have to figure out how can she trust some people but not completely write off the entire species, but sometimes you have to. And instead, no, they seemingly are committing. So we have an executioner who lives up to his name. He cut that man's head off like it was made of paper mache. Frieren basically saying, your leader ain't shit, I can crush all of you with my pinky. And yeah, that's gonna be a very fun fight. But you have to admit, the way they manipulate, whether it's the flashback or in present day, it works. It's some of the best manipulation I've seen, because the idea of what this kid did, like, even as it's happening, I'm like, there's gotta be a but. Like, there's gotta be some element that just made her snap, the blood moon rise, I didn't know. But no, they're just scumbags seemingly. And it's so interesting, right? Because on her deathbed, after basically saying like, I ate your daughter, here's a new daughter for you, this isn't right. Oh shit, what did I do wrong? Gets her arm cut off, she's dying and disintegrating, and when asked, why do you use terms like mother? It's because it will make you basically drop your guard around us. And then when you see this poor bastard, this poor father, I knew immediately when they went into that room he was ready to draw his blade, but the idea of how he gets out of that predicament, because here's the thing, I totally expect he would have died after cutting that man's head off, because the one girl in the background was kind of like charging up an energy ball, probably would have killed him. But I do think all three of those would have died given the amount of guards that were in that room. However, the idea of de-escalating it, because they want this man to drop his guard, to lower defenses, have peace, in the name of peace, and then what will happen is they will all come in and destroy this entire village. And on one hand, luckily, we do have a girl who could probably save them all, Unfortunately, that will probably get her locked up for life if not executed. Because here's the thing, just drawing her staff was 2 to 3 years in prison. You actually attempt to and do commit some atrocities, or at least what they think they are, Frieren's probably getting the death penalty for that. And if they do that, then obviously they're guaranteed going to die. Now, it's going to be interesting because they are very good with words. He's suffering for the loss of his son. This is all I got back. Yes, but what about my father? And it just immediately clicks because you realize in these moments, war is hell. Sometimes it's so easy to get lost in what you lost, not realizing that people could be fighting for the same thing. And why did this all start? Why don't we try to put our blades down? It's a very human thing, but these creatures don't give a shit. These creatures are just all about manipulating so they can eat and just hurt humans. And if there ever does come a character, whether next episode or deep into this story, that is a demon who isn't like this, there's gonna be trust issues. Because whether it was in the past when we saw that little girl, or clearly now in the present, there is just so much disgustingness about this species. And I don't know. I really don't, because I can understand Stark and Fern's, kind of like worry here, right? Being like, listen, I get you've dealt with things, but why do we have to just immediately try to kill them? Like, they seemingly are trying to talk. Isn't that the best thing to do it? And then you drop the heavy bombshell about what happened with the little girl, and, they're petrified, and who wouldn't be in that moment? Like, I really think Frieren is just continuing to cement itself as like the perfect way to do slice of life adventure, where you're going from location to location, the end goal going to heaven, as she so casually tells Stark. But at the same time, we get moments where it's talking about grimoires and fakes, and how the fake is as close to the real thing as you can get, to then simply clearing a road and why don't we just lift the cart over? Like, wouldn't that be quicker? But what would happen to the other people who need to get over? To then so elegantly and so casually introducing such a heavy emotional burden of a story. And I'm left saying, this is why from my first video on this show, probably to my last video on this show, I keep saying this is already one of my new faves, because I love the cast. I love the world. I love the fact that we still have flashbacks to that original journey as we're simultaneously looking at the new one. Whether it's looking at those statues, whether it's seeing them back in the past. This is just such good character writing, world building, plot progression. It's just, I love this show. But let me know what you thought, because I definitely think they wanted to make the viewers heated with these demons, and for me, mission accomplished. But let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more free into the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction over on my Patreon if you do want to see me get heated in real time. And hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Ricardo Pelego, Squilton, and more Rudd. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.